network webinar series. My name is Andrea Rubini. I'm the Director of Operations of Water Europe, and on behalf of Water Europe, I'm honored to lead one of the important pillars of the partnership Water4All. And really, I'm delighted to introduce this important discussion and presentation of cases of today. I guess that you know that it is almost on the lips of everybody, or I would say, the lips of everybody, that's ensuring today water security. This is in the face of growing environmental and societal challenges and pressures, requires really a systemic change. It is not just about new technologies, because technology won't be able to save us as well. Just infrastructure will not be able to address the challenges of the water and water-related areas. But it's about really creating what we call a collaborative ecosystem where innovation can be really tested, demonstrated, and taken up. So, from the ideation of the innovation up to the market uptake or the deployment of the innovation. And this is the ambition of one of the missions of the Water4All partnership, which is a partnership co-funded by the European Union under the Horizon Europe Framework Program for Research and Innovation, and particularly within Water4All partnership, the Pillar D, which supports and intends to support the demonstration, the uptake, and market readiness of innovative water solutions. Water Europe leads the Pillar D. At the heart of this work, we have the water-oriented living labs. You might have seen this acronym, WOLLs. What are the water-oriented living labs? Water-oriented living labs are real-life environments. They are connected to real context, where the different actors of the quadruple helix, researchers, innovators, authorities, citizens, and business, come together to co-create solutions for local water challenges. And within the Pillar D, we are building a structured network of water-oriented living labs. We have 25 water-oriented living labs today that join them in the network. And this is made to foster cooperation, to share methodologies, and accelerate practice, the transition to what we call a water-smart society and economy, as have been stressed also in the recently published water resilience strategy of the European Union. We start this journey officially in June 2022, and after a bit more than 3 years, I have to say that we got excellent results. And the webinar series, this one is one of the webinars of the series, is one of the tools that we produce to support these efforts. It provides a kind of platform for exchange and learning, to help really us to connect across different contexts, to strengthen our capacity of looking into the practices and align on shared challenges and opportunities, because also challenges need to be shared, not only solutions. So each webinar in this first cycle addresses a critical dimension of the development of the water-oriented living labs and how territories can address water-related challenges in a sustainable view. So we started with this. It's not the first one; it's the third webinar. We started with how to measure impact and collaboration. We continued the second webinar about policy innovation and regulatory sandboxes, and how water-oriented living labs could play an important role for both. For policy development and how to act as a regulatory sandboxes. And today, in this session, we are going to focus on the governance and stakeholder engagement, which is at the basis. Why this theme? Because even the best solution that we can find, that doesn't work without a real ownership, a real trust and commitment from the people and organizations that are meant to serve. Let's say that inclusive governance models and effective stakeholder engagement are at the basis to make water-oriented living labs, but any working ecosystem, credible, impactful, and sustainable. And when we speak about sustainability, we speak about not only the financial one, but also the long-term capacity of a territory to addressing growing, changing challenges of the territory, concerning water, and not only water, because we live in a permanent nexus between the different challenges that affect our society. What we are going to hear today, we are going to have, example from lessons from practices. So we have from innovative engagement tools, like the gamification and nudging, up to the capacity building through the education and citizen science. Examples of science communication and co-creation in climate vulnerable areas. And we also hear about financial aspects because it is meaningful for stakeholders' engagement to look into the requirements of how to get resources and sustainable financial strategies. So, what I like, really, first, to thank all the speakers and the participants to this webinar. I really encourage you to listen with, the necessary curiosity to think about how this experience might connect with your own context and how this could be helpful to you and vice versa, and to share your reflections and the internet part at the end of this webinar. So once again, thank you for joining us. And let's begin our program, and we move into the first set of case studies and with the first speakers. And so I invite Alexandra Windrix from the city of Mechelen and the Water4All Living Lab of Mechelen, giving us a showcase of innovative methods and techniques, tools and techniques used to encourage participation of citizens and other stakeholders. Alexandra, thank you so much. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Andrea. I will share my screen with you. All right, normally you should see my screen now. If not, please don't hesitate to say anything. So hello everyone, I'm Alexandra. I work for City of Mechelen. Mechelen is a medium-sized city in Belgium, and I work on climate adaptation. And since last year, I'll go ahead with my slide. So this is city. Since last year, we have become a water-oriented living lab as a whole city, and that might sound a bit abstract at first, but the general idea is that we try to tackle a wicked problem, being climate change, water challenges, and we do that by implementing as much as smaller actions wherever possible, and all of these actions actually fit under the umbrella of a water-oriented living lab and what a water-oriented living lab does. Andrea already said something about quadruple helix, so this is not different for us. Only as a city, of course, our quadruple helix looks a little bit different. We are a local government and we serve mainly our citizens. So for us, our quadruple helix looks more like this. And if we try to tackle climate change, of course, we are talking about climate adaptation measures in this case. And we try to involve our citizens as much as possible. That's not always an easy job. So what I will do today is just give very practical examples of what we do. We call them innovative, but it's not always the new biggest invention. They're very often very simple, but together they make a bigger whole. So that's what I want to show you today. I have 3 points that I want to share with you. So first of all, our public space participation is often considered innovative in some way, because what we try to do is that we really try to understand local needs and give the people in the street room to be the experts. You will probably know that it's not always easy when a street has a makeover, when parking spots disappear. It's always a big problem, even if there's green coming in place of that. But we try to talk as much as possible with the citizens, give them this space to be the experts. And oftentimes when you go out and you bring them a design for the streets, it's a hard no from the start. And we try to change it to a maybe or a yes if, and open the discussion with them. The way that we do this is by a technique from behavioral change. So it's maybe not very visible here, but what we do is we don't bring anymore one design to the people. We bring 3 designs. This opens the discussion because, as you might see, the first design here is the smallest greening infrastructures, then the middle one is a medium, and the bottom one has most green infrastructures. And by giving them a choice, it opens the discussion because it's not a hard no. They are able to say, well, we prefer the small green infrastructure because this and this and this reason, but you still need to change this and this because there are lots of old people living in our streets, and we need more benches or something like that. They are the expert in their street, and that's what we that's the place that we give them in this conversation. So this really helps to go from a hard no to a yes, maybe, and work together towards a solution. So main takeaway from this point is to really allow the people to take their space as being an expert in their own domain. Second point that I want to highlight is that we try to make it fun and logic to make the choice for more climate adaptive measures. When we talk about climate change and climate problems, most people already tune out. It's too big of a problem. They have given up most of the time. So what we try to do is make it smaller, divide it in small pieces and highlight the return on investment for them. It's not their job to save the climate. It's their job to maybe plant a tree and get healthier because of it, or have economic benefits, whatever the situation is and where it fits. This is where we try to really highlight these return on investments, and also while making it fun. So these techniques really help us to nudge our way through to more climate adaptive measures in the street, but also at private domain from the citizens themselves. I'll just go over some examples that I have here of what we do. As I say, there are no big inventions or golden solutions. There are small actions that bring a bigger or make a bigger difference together. So what do we do? Empowerment workshops on how to make your garden more climate proof or make it biodiverse. So the people that are interested but don't know how to start, they get a free workshop a few times a year. The second picture here is a depaving championship. So this is an example of gamification. It's also something that exists in the Netherlands, and actually it is this year, there is a big battle, you could say, between Belgium and the Netherlands on who can depave the most. So that's a nice way of challenging each other to get rid of as much stone as possible and replace it with green infrastructures. We also offer, and this is the third picture here, we also offer various group buys for plants, for trees, etc. This is mostly for people who don't know where to start and need a selection where we say, if you choose one of these trees, you're fine, it's good. The barrier is taken away. It's very easy, low threshold for them. So that's a nice thing. A bit in the same category, we offer free flower tiles. So where people depave, for example, within the depaving championship, they get a free flower tile where they just have to put it in the ground. The seeds are already in it and beautiful flowers grow from it. So it's a small nudge, but it's something. And then also in the same category, we offer free tile garbage bags for whoever depaves. This is easier for them because normally you would need to go to the recycling park. You need a big car to take all of the stones with you. With the garbage bag, they just need to fill the bag, put it outside their home, and we will come and pick it up for free. So it's small nudges that we make. to make life easier. That's actually the message here. Then a little bit different ways that we also try to nudge are, for example, with tile gardens. The first picture here. Tile gardens are gardens that are actually on public domain, but right next to the houses. So people can take out the tiles themselves. They don't need a permit to do it. Of course, there are some rules. And even more, if they are with 4 or more neighbors in the same street that all want a tile garden, we will come and do it for free for them. So again, removing any barriers that there might be, making it as easy as possible. In the same category, we have green garlands. So you can see in the second picture here, the green garlands grow over the streets. They offer biodiversity, lots of shadow. So that's a really nice way of integrating more green if there is not enough space for trees. What we do is we offer free installation for those who ask for a green garland, and we will also maintain the green garland from 3 meters up and above, so the people don't need to buy very, very high ladders to take care of them. Third picture here, again, a group buy, but this time for rain barrels. It is very successful. In 1 year, we have almost 150 people that bought rain barrels. So if you count all of the saved liters of water together, it's a really nice, it's a nice number to see. And then the last one here, for those people who don't own a garden or the people that really love gardening so much, it is also possible for them to adopt a plant bed on public domain. So this way they can take a bit of ownership in the public streets and make it themselves. Yes, this is also still a bit of a part of the empowering. So what we also have is information leaflets on, in this case, how to green your street with more information, how to green your garden and your house. And then the third one here is how to use water and rainwater in your garden. So this is freely available for everyone. So that was my second point. Just make it fun, highlight the return on investment for them, and lower the barriers as much as possible to make it easy, and the logic choice to go with this. And the third point that I wanted to highlight is actually just, it's not really something innovative that I want to highlight here, but that we need to trust the process. Very often we are discouraged by sometimes how slow things go, especially we know what needs to happen, and then, well, yeah, it might go slow sometimes. Especially if you see pictures like this, it might be discouraging at some points. But what I want to say is that we very often try to take people that are not involved in climate adaptation or nature or anything that are on ground zero, as you can see here. And we try to bring them to the highest step that you have here in one go, and it doesn't work, of course not. So what we try to do is that we take them step by step, and this is through nudging and through lowering the barriers and through making it fun and making it more about them than the bigger climate problem. And I also believe that, and I mean absolutely no disrespect with this, not at all, but we are people, we are a bit sheep, and the more sheep follow this example, and the more sheep that will go on the stairs, the more that will follow, and the more it will become the new normal. So that's what we should aim for, really. And in the end, it will hopefully end a bit like this, where there's sheep everywhere. So yeah, my main message here is that we should not give up on we should not try to go from 0 to 100. It's really the small actionable items that can make the big difference. And then I always like to end with this because I talked about quadruple helix in the beginning, but we can actually make this into a quintuple helix because nature and environment aren't in this yet. This is something that we try to do in Mechelen. How do you incorporate the voice of nature in a water-oriented living lab? We have tried to do this by whenever there is participation to, of course, ask the people that are there on their opinion. But we also ask them to take the perspective of a frog or a butterfly or a plant or a fish or a bird. And of course, this isn't correct. We will not know what a bird really thinks, or not yet. We never know. But it gives an idea. It gives some kind of a voice to nature and environment as much as possible at this point in time. But it also makes it also shifts the people that participate their opinion. It gives them a new perspective, which is even more valuable, I think, because they will not only think for themselves, but also for nature, which is something that oftentimes they forget. Yes, well, this is of course, AI generated, but this is a nice picture that I wanted to end with. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email. I think we will go straight to the next presentation. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Alexandra. Delighted to see the ocean of ships and then the future. And I found also interesting about it that we should be in the shoes of the natural sometimes. Not in our shoes. And but let's say that it also takes years. It's not been a short-term process. So building trust, credibility, that's at the basis of the engagement of the different acts of the quintuple helix. So many thanks for your presentation. We ask the audience to write the questions in the chat. So if any, we'll send it to you and that you can reply. So now, thank you so much. Many thanks, really. Now, I'm delighted to give the floor to Evdokia Vairampa from the project D4 and how to build solutions together, so citizen and stakeholders. Evdokia, we are happy to see you here. Please take the floor.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Thank you for the invitation. And, I'm very glad to be here with all of you. I will try to share my presentation. I'm sorry, what happened? No. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, I stopped sharing. There was a small problem with my presentation. Yes. You must see it now, right? I'm sorry for the problem before.
Don't worry.
Yes, you see it in the full screen, right?
Yes, we do.
Amazing. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the little technical delay. So this is the presentation for D4 building together solutions for citizen stakeholder engagement within the framework, of course, of the project. This is us in one of the case study areas a couple of months ago, a little bit before summer in Pontendera in Italy. All of us happy after the visit of the pilot site a little before the open day with the citizens. So let me introduce you who we are and what we are doing. So this is a 4-year project that is going to end very, very soon, I must say. Not tomorrow, but beginning of 2026. And we are going through the final stage of our dissemination, and all the pilot actions are going to take their final, let's say, form right now. But what is D4 So the context is that climate change has put a lot of pressure on the wastewater systems. It has increased, of course, the work, of course, and all the and the focus has been moved towards the harmful pollutants and contaminants within this wastewater systems. So we need to understand what are these pollutants, how harmful they are. Have we identified them correctly in a national, regional, but also in a European level? And we need to detect them. We need to create then a new framework. This is what we are doing in D4 of multiple, let's say, focuses. So to find which are these new pollutants that exist in the runoff waters, coming from the roofs, coming from in the streets. Which are these? Do we know them correctly? Maybe yes, maybe no. How can we identify them in the water? So we need new sensors in order to find these emerging contaminants. We need to inform the stakeholders what is happening in the water and how this could possibly affect our health. This is the third pillar. The design of the multi-criteria methodology. It's a kind of online interactive platform which helps the stakeholders to understand which are the solutions for every, let's say, pollutant existing there, meaning nature-based solutions. So if we have pollutants, we have a nature-based solution to solve this problem. And also we provide this AI-assisted platform, which is getting information from the sensors, but also from this other platform, in order to support also water management stakeholders, in order to find the ultimate solutions for their let's say water management problems. So it is a complex project, I must say, quite technical, but the core is to identify what is harmful for us and try to make to improve the legislations, but also to give tools and platforms and all the knowledge to the stakeholders, but not only, in order to face this water pollution and what is unknown in the waters right now. Specifically for the fourth platform, the AI-assisted platform, we had to go to the stakeholders and ask them, what do you need? What are the gaps? What we haven't, what you need for your work in order to optimize the water management systems there. And we had them set up a co-creation approach already from the beginning of the project, from month, let's say 6. So the first 6 months of the project, we gathered stakeholders in the first pilot here in Santander in order to ask them what do they need for their work. So we prepared specific questionnaires, specific templates. We explained them the context, and we asked them what they want for their work. Also, we had interviews also with 16 stakeholders to understand the motivation expectations from that specific platform. In the same time, we had public surveys from 50 respondents from different countries in Europe, but also beyond. And also this co-design, co-creation workshops, which have already taken place in Italy and Spain, and we will have the next one in Denmark. So we will have also this in Denmark, but also in Denmark in a few months we'll have, let's say, the final event of D4 and there will be another workshop with the stakeholders. So in the whole process of D4 we are in collaborating with stakeholders in the 3 pilot areas in Italy, Potendera, Spain, Santander, and then Denmark, Odense. The most important thing is to validate and prioritize the functionalities of each module and make a platform that they will use it for their work. From the workshops, we had different, let's say, target groups that participated. We had technical operators, water experts, local policy makers, students, professors, and researchers. In this stage, we didn't yet engage citizens, but a bit later in the process, we did. Good news, after all this consultation and all this effort of the 1.5 years of the project, with the workshops and the surveys and the interviews, we ended up having the platform, which you can find them on the WOLLs website under the resources page. You can sign in and you can go and explore. As a stakeholder, you have the technical part, so you can get you can navigate from this site. If you are a policymaker, there is specific let's say button to click, so you go and explore the solutions. And there is another let's say tab that is a serious game. This is for the general public, and through this serious game you get to know the natural-based solutions, and you are becoming a virtual urban player, let's say, and you try to solve, you try to install nature-based solutions in one of the pilots. We don't really expand for the whole Europe. This is beyond the project Scopus. So we are, if you want to become an urban player, planner and player, you can select either Odense, Potendera, or Santander, and there you become, you try to install the nature-based solutions. Also, in order to make it easier for the users, we have developed some guidelines. Also, this can be found in on the website. And there are all the processes, how to sign in, to log in, what are the tips and tricks, and some useful information you need to know to play. But overall, it's quite user-friendly and straightforward. So let's move on to this. Other stakeholder actions. Until now, we have organized 2 open days, one in Santander, where also the workshops with the with the stakeholders have taken place, Potendera as well, and there is the final one, the final open day in a few months, 1.5 months, in Odense. And with the stakeholders, we are also organizing joint webinars. We are participating to workshop with sister projects, and we are always trying to inform what is happening in the project. I must say that the pilots, from the very beginning of the project, they have really regular meetings with the city councils, because everything, of course, in local level is going through approvals from the city council, and they need to know what is happening in the project. For instance, in Santander, we are talking about an artificial wetland. You will see later a picture, and the Council of Santander has to know what is happening. The same in Potendera. You cannot go and do all this work, let's say, in the water treatment plant without the municipality knowing the actions. So from the beginning, we have sit down and we have discussed what is the action plan, and every 3 or 4 months, there is a regular meeting with the council to see the process. Here we see a picture from the open day in Potendera, when there were also representatives from other cities in Pisa and Florence who came to see the project and maybe to replicate the solutions we have in their, let's say, municipalities and in a larger cities that they are Pisa and Florence. So we have considered them at the beginning. And at some point, after 1.5 years, not at the beginning, but from it has passed, let's say, 1.5 years of the project, we started to engage with citizens. At the beginning, we targeted mainly students that they were visiting our pilot areas. So you can see pictures from students in different grades. Visiting let's say the wetlands, and they had guided tours, what we are doing, how we are doing it, and they were, let's say, committed to test our final, let's say, services when they will be out. So all these young people, they will become now our final testers of our platforms. Now that the project is ending. At the same time, I must say that there is a big project proactivity from the partners, which is great. So proactively, they decided to create a board game, a very simple board game, putting the map of the city. Here you see in the researchers' nights how kind of a small board game, how you can install nature-based solutions in different parts in Santander. They were interested, let's say, citizens in different events, but here we are in the researchers' night. But it's this picture has been taken in the day. Well, the different offer had a stand, and people were coming and they were playing the game. We're explaining what are the nature-based solutions, and we're doing some little tests to show some sort of experiment, and they were playing the game. I must say this is not the final product of the project. It was just an initiative from the partner, the local partner, in order to engage with citizens. Another initiative that was not really foreseen at the beginning of the project, but proactively the partners in Denmark decided to do is the citizen science initiative. So how can we know how many pollutants there are in the water if we don't, of course, sample? We have to sample, and we cannot sample only few places. We need to have a wider, let's say, sampling area, and a university or a partner has a specific limitations. So why don't we put the citizens in the game? So we had to, in order to have sufficient information on the pollutants, we had to have at least 600 samples. And we sent out a group of citizens that they showed some interest in Odense, with the municipality of Odense participating into this beautiful initiative. And citizens went around with specific guidelines from the University of Copenhagen, what to do at what time of the year. They were checking the predictions to have the correct rain, let's say. You cannot go out with any type of rain. So under raining conditions, they were going out with a small plastic bottle to collect runoff water. And yes, we achieved, we actually overachieved our goal. And now the data are in the laboratory under, let's say, validation. So this is also very nice, and I must say that these citizens, they were extremely happy participating in this initiative, and they will be invited in the final day of the project in Odense. And this is what I want to present you as a final. The project has been foreseen the participation of children in the project. So we have thought of developing a cards game. This is different from the board game of the University of Cantabria. This is the official, let's say, game of the project that is aiming to engage over 3 schools in different locations in Europe between 11 and 14-year-old, and to learn them what? to learn about the pollutants, about water pollution, and about NBS. And we designed that game. Here you see the testing phase. We engaged with 2 schools in Potendera, and we went to one summer campus in Alicante, and we got over 40 kids and 10 teachers, including counselors, to test the game. So now we had the kind of basis of what they like and what they didn't like. Kids, they were super excited to play this game, and they were coming to say, "Is it already in the market? Can I go and buy it?" So we could see that there was excitement from them, and it was very nice feedback for us. So all their let's say inspiration and creativity came into a feedback form, and now the game is under production, and it will be will be given to the kids also in Odense, but also in Italy and in Spain when it will be finalized. So thank you very much. This is my contact information. You can go and visit the WORLs website and our social media. That's are always up to date. And here we see the beautiful wetland here in Santander, since the weather is nice. And here quite many activities have taken place, I must say. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't overpass the time. I don't know.
Many thanks, Evdokia. Many thanks for the bright examples. It's really brilliant. And well, I mean, many thanks for accepting, I mean, to speak today, I mean, in such a short notice. Thanks once again. And well, I mean, if there are questions, and then I will.
No problem.
And yes, we are a bit behind the schedule. So I will pass, I mean, immediately to the Cassandra conference and to Irina Calanza of Fluent Green. This is a presentation on science communication as a tool for inclusive stakeholders engagement in climate vulnerable areas. Irina, please, I mean,
Yes.
it's yours.
Thank you, Andrea. Hello all. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Irina Calanza, and I'm the founder of Fluent Green. And I also work in the field of the sustainability transition. And today I will talk about Cassandra initiative and a pilot training that we are developing in this moment. So let me share my screen. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so today the goal is to introduce you to Cassandra conference.
No, we don't see it anymore.
We don't see it any longer.
Oh, you don't see my presentation?
No, we only see cliquer pour quitter le plein écran.
Ah, okay. Okay. I'll try to connect again. So, do you see now my screen?
No, we see it yet, but not in presentation mode.
Yes, okay. And now?
No, it's perfect, yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so yes, I would like today to introduce you to the Cassandra conference, and as well as a capacity building initiative we are working on, which is about science communication as a tool for inclusive stakeholder engagement. But let me start with introduction with about the Cassandra initiative. So Cassandra, it's a program that was launched in 2021 by ERICAT, which is the technology center of Catalonia. And it's one of the first initiative that by a technology center to address climate change from also a socio-political perspective and not only from the environmental one. So Cassandra program focus on the climate change impacts and interlinked crises that are, of course, exacerbated by climate change, which are public health, migration, gender equality, and armed conflict. And these crises, of course, are deeply interconnected because they shape people's daily lives, identities, and vulnerabilities. And Cassandra's program aim is to connect scientific knowledge with social realities. So that's why there are three different pillars of Cassandra. So the first one is about defining Cassandra local climate forums. The local climate forums within Cassandra is a community space where citizens, local authorities, NGOs, but also industries can collaborate on local climate challenges. So today there are a few local climate forums around the world, especially, of course, within the more vulnerable regions, which are, for example, Somalia, Kenya, Palestine as well. We have local climate forums in Sudan, in South Africa. These local climate forums, they provide a grounded real-life environment because the main goal is really to understand what are the local realities. And there are multiple actors that can co-create responses to the climate impacts. And then we have a second pillar, and the second pillar is about science embassies. And the science embassies, it's a network of universities, research centers, but also technology institutions that are offering free scientific advice to local climate forums in their region when needed. So the goal is to create a two-way bridge between scientific expertise and also local community needs, ensuring that collaboration is inclusive and relevant. And then we have a third pillar that I'll go more into details because this is the pillar that I would like you to talk more about. So this is about the Cassandra Science Communication Workshop. So today is now widely recognized that scientists and technologists have a vital socio-political role. To truly make an impact, the scientists must be able today to communicate complex knowledge clearly and accessibly to diverse stakeholders, meaning the public, of course, but also decision makers, local communities, industries. So this third pillar is focused it's focused on a case study. Sorry, because, okay, good. And a case study that can also support the WOLLs, the program that we are working on, in building inclusive governance and stakeholder engagement. Within this pillar, we are developing a workshop that is designed as an introduction to that role. It does not teach a fixed methodology, but offers an interactive experience to raise awareness on how better communication can increase the real-world impact of scientific work, especially in addressing the socio-political challenges driven by climate change. And our role focuses on designing and facilitating capacity building for scientists and technologists, helping them act as communicators and co-creators alongside citizens, local authorities, and industries. So let's think of it more like a journey of awareness and transformation. So it's not a technical course, it's a space where scientists can step back and see themselves as actors in society, taking into account their socio-political role, especially when working with vulnerable communities. So I will present you this journey. I would like just to mention that today it's a pilot, so we are still developing it. So you see 7 different sessions, but these 7 sessions were divided into days. And the goal of the first day was to raise awareness. So first thing is to understand the why. So why is it so important to communicate in an impactful and a clear way? So the goal is to understand why effective communication is a vital part of their role as researchers, especially in addressing complex societal challenges. That once that we've decided the why, we can go to the what. So once we understood why is it so important, so what is the role of scientists in communicating? And during this session, we'll talk about what is the socio-political role of researchers, because we actually started to identify a few meaningful roles. The fact that scientists are responsible to connect, for example, the data to real life, to build bridges of trust with the audience, to shape strategic narratives, and also to enable better collaboration with their target and their audiences. And then after that we understood what is the what, we can go into the session number 3, which will be, let's understand that what are the main obstacles. So as scientists, we need to communicate in an effective way. We have a socio-political role, and now let's go into what are the challenges today and the obstacles that we need to face. And we started to identify a few of them. For example, in the science communication, the internal obstacles are, for example, language barrier, because when communicating with local communities, often they speak local dialects or different languages, because today English is the main language in communicating, and this is not suitable for all the communities. For example, another obstacle would be the emotional disconnect, because being far from that community, from that ground, being far from the ground, it's always, not always, but often complicated also to communicate. For example, in external obstacles, we identify the fact that there is the misinformation. So fake news are spread very widely on social media, but not only. And a challenge is how, as scientists, we can face that. How to build a communication that can build trust within for the audience. Also, the gender bias, it's a challenge because women are often underrepresented. Women's contribution to scientific contribution and also local contribution is often underrepresented. And for example, the funding inequality, because there are more funds in the North, Global North and Global South. So how can we find a balance in that? So this is the first day, is to raise awareness, understand what are the main obstacles and challenges. And then we go within the day number 2, and in the second day we will shift to action. So first of all, the main goal is to understand who is the target, who is the audience we're addressing to, and also to adapt our message and our communication to that audience. And then we'll go through a few case studies of successful communication, science communication. So we'll see a few examples on how specific communicators were able to speak in a very clear way. And also the goal is to understand what are the strategies they were using during their spreading out their topics and communication. And then at the end of the second day, we'll focus on what are the strategies in order to make communication effective, and then apply these strategies to their own case study. So actually, the aim of this today's workshop is to just having a step back, having a general view, and raise awareness about the importance of the socio-political role of scientists. So by the end of this journey, participants don't just learn how to talk about their work, but they redefine their role from experts to connectors, storytellers, and trusted partners. They come to understand that communication and co-creation, it is part of the scientist's responsibility. And we work on how to listen, how to adapt, and how to build trust across social, cultural, and institutional divides. So this Cassandra's Conference pilot offers, of course, a replicable engagement tool to empower local researchers as agents of dialogue, to foster trust between citizens, authorities, and industries, and of course, to ensure that solutions are not just technically sound, but especially socially owned. And of course, this capacity building, it's a tool that can be adapted in different territories, sectors, realities to strengthen inclusive governance and help turn scientific knowledge into collective action. So this is, I gave you an insight of this first pilot. We'll have more information during next year because we'll have to develop it with the scientists in EURECAT. But of course, the goal is to deploy it more and more in other organizations, and of course, changing also the target, because now we are working, we're focusing on local communities, but the goal is to expand this workshop and training to other audiences, such as public authorities, industries, and so on. So I came to the end of my presentation. I don't hesitate if you have any question. You have my email here, and yeah, I'm open for any ideas or suggestion you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Rina. Thank you so much for your presentation. We saw very extremely interesting tools that I hope that will be further discussed within the audience. And but if you have question, we have question, and we are going to send to the speakers, the relevant question from the audience, because we are a bit behind the schedule and we need to go ahead. So now is the time of Naomi.
Yeah. Thank you. Someone is still sharing their screen, and I cannot.
Yes. And Naomi will introduce, the capacity building in terms of education, training, and citizen science from H2O people. And please take the floor. And this is, the last speaker of this session.
Well, thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Water4All, for having me here. Yes, my name is Naomi Timmer. I'm director of H2O People, and I bring together here some hopefully inspiring stories and alternatives on how to integrate education, training, citizen science into your community. Because we have as goal to empower the people to really be able to make the connection and to create the impact. Since we have been doing this now for 6 years, we've really seen the growth of capacity building as pathway to societal impact. I would like to strengthen that position here as well, not only as director of H2O People, but also as the expert group leader of skills and human resources within Water Europe. And we bring together different partners and members of Water Europe who have the same goal to integrate really the human-centered approach and to see how we can strengthen that. And for today, I really hope to give a quick overview of some of the activities that can be done in different collaborations, which have been executed with all different types of other members. Some are research institutes and others are well, the higher educational institutes itself, but also the field at the utilities, at the floor, with local governments. And in that sense, to get an integrated approach towards capacity building, but also to highlight a bit what is possible with education as well. If we talk about citizen engagement, the education plays a bigger role each time. So that's from my side. From which perspective? So first I wanted to see and share a bit of what we've done so far with effective stakeholder engagement and citizen science. I took the examples of 4 different projects that we're in. It's a combination of Erasmus+, but also Horizon and research projects, working towards creating maybe in the future water-oriented living labs, but not there yet. So let's see how that can be supported by these actions. And one of the activities that we've done is to create within a widening project a water line, which focuses on education support in artificial reality and augmented reality, and building a critical mass of stakeholders around it. So not only from the educational institutes, but also inviting different types of stakeholders to play their role, to see what is possible and how we could do that within a program. Although the project is ending this month, the ambassadors community, of course, is still alive, and we want to keep that forward because the digitalization plays a major role in also creating the stakeholder engagement of the future, because not everyone can be at the same place at the same time, also not students. And this is exactly what we try to achieve within this group of people. So if you still have interest, I will share the brochure and the link later on in the chat as well, if you want to be part of this community. And the second one that I wanted to highlight, active stakeholder engagement and the connection of citizen science, is the toolkit that we created for the I'm Mermaid project. I put in what types of tools we created for the project and for the communities and cases that are involved. Well, that's a boring list. So they asked me to create some inspiration. So then we come up with the pictures, because, you know, creating lines is not what creates effective stakeholder engagement. It is building that trust society, building the connection with people. And the strongest way to do that is to have it face to face, to really do things together, to build personal connections as well. Especially if we talk in the end with on the pictures on citizen science, in which we try to find jellyfish and identify them in a beach in Portugal, or clean up the beach in the Netherlands. They're all part of citizen science projects and citizen science engagement activities. What we see is that it really helps to understand how and what type of people are passionate about. How can we really bridge that gap between what we know and how we share knowledge with what people love to do? And I think in that perspective, becoming more and more creative in that sense to really engage people in our activities, and take them serious as well in what they do and what they provide. That takes really place in these citizen engagement and citizen science programs as well. And all of these tools that we try to integrate into these communities, I really stretch to take everyone's voice serious. So the tools that we choose are really focusing on how can we take all the different voices at the same level. Of course, everyone has different expertise and has a different role in decision making, but everyone's voice matters. And we need to take serious. And the two examples of the pictures on the left, we see a Lego Serious Play, and below we see a Deep Democracy, is really focusing a conversation by feed to take everyone's voice into consideration and to let everyone be heard. And one of the beautiful comments of a serious play I did within the Conference of Citizen Science just before summer was, yes, this really helps with a citizen engagement by a professor, because, you know, professors can't build Lego better than other citizens. It's not that we are in a higher ground, but we really level ourselves to use the same tools to communicate with each other and finally bridge some gaps in that sense. In the middle, you see a game that we played with teachers, and that gives a beautiful bridge towards my next, hopefully, inspiring story, is the educational part. We developed also within iMermaid a schooling workbook together with all the scientists. So all the case owners, all the scientists had to think, okay, so what can we do with the school kids around in our area, and how can we create that into an integrated approach? This one is still under construction, but it is available via the QR code in English. We work on the translations and on the final implementation support. But please do already give us our feedback, because that's co-creation. Let's hear it, what you have to say. And 2 weeks ago, I had the beauty to present this school book into a student conference in Banja Luka in Bosnia, with 75 high school children, well, kids, teenagers, tough crowd to entertain, and to really talk with them about chemicals of emerging concern in their waters. We had a Kahoot quiz, and we had an exhibition space with all the different missions that they could play around. And you really saw them starting to engage and think about, so what am I using and how could I change that? So that really helps. The other picture is the integration of water education, and especially personal and professional skills in higher education within the water sector, and how we deal with stakeholders in that sense, how we create a societal impact, and how important personal and professional development are in that. Because are we trained to talk to other people? Are we trained to create good stakeholder engagement? How well are we prepared to do all these activities? And that brings me to the capacity building, also integrated into the different projects to really support that community feeling as well. We do it mainly face-to-face with an integrated approach to combine all the knowledge that we collect within our activities, but also create new ones because of new connections, new people popping up. We bring in the network and of course the skills are really important for us, and not only face-to-face, but we're also working towards a digital platform to gather all these informations and to engage also if you're not present at that time. And then of course, well, we had the very textual thing, but to be inspirational, some pictures. These are the small ones we've performed so far. These are training weeks in which we integrate stakeholder engagement, field trips, playing all the games, prepare people to facilitate themselves, but also at the same time train the future generation professionals to move forward with these activities, to really create impact with their work. And well, this one was made just before that. Yeah, and I think with capacity building, we have something that is even stronger than just a random event. It is really creating a community, it's creating a learning base, and it's creating impact for the future, because if we train people and really engage with them, we can step by step integrate them into our goals as well. I think that's it. My contact details are there. If you have any question about our programs, our activities, the expert group, let me know.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Thanks a lot. I think that from these 4 presentations, we really had, much more than just a sample of what should be done in terms of engaging stakeholders, different categories of the stakeholders. And well, I mean, we have some questions. I mean, in the pipeline. We have also multimedia later on. I mean, after the next session. But since I mean, as I said, I mean, we are a bit behind the schedule. I would say, I mean, if we have time for answering to the question, I mean, at the end of this webinar. And so now, I mean, the first session it's over, and now, I mean, we go, I mean, to the other one is money matters. So it's financing the stakeholder engagement operations, and I would like, I mean, to give the floor to Marcos Garcia from Imdea Water to introduce the next speakers and introduce the session as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Andrea. I hope you can hear me.
Yes,
Perfect. As we are behind schedule, I am not gonna spend too much time. I just wanted to say before starting that please keep in mind that financing aspects are not unrelated to the activities. Always every financial strategy, financial instrument needs to be adapted to the specific situation. So we will see now different cases, and every of these cases will need different strategies. First, we have Ángel Rivero Falcón from the Sal Plus Living Lab. He is a chemical engineer and a desalination expert, and he will talk about their specific case in Canary Island in Spain. So the room is yours.
Thank you, Marcos. Thank you, Andrea and Water Europe. It's a pleasure for us to be here presenting. Let me share the screen. Let me know, please, if... Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we are.
perfect. So thank you very much for the invitation. I'll try to be quick because I know we're a bit behind on the schedule. So we recently joined, I think last year was the Water-Oriented Living Lab. And I'm going to explain a little bit how the Sal Plus Living Lab, and especially our brine valorization testbed, how this collaborative space for innovation in desalination between public and private parties can take place and how it's financed. So first of all, the Sal Plus Living Lab is a platform that we created in 2017, so 8 years ago. When I say we, I say the Canary Islands Institute of Technology, which is a public company in the Canary Islands in Spain. And the other members are also public members from the Canary Islands. We've got the 2 universities, we've got the research agency from the government of the Canary Islands, and the Society of Economic Promotion of Gran Canaria as well as a member. And then we have some associates, which are private companies and some public companies as well. So we've created this platform where all sort of key players can cooperate and innovate, validate technology, especially related to water desalination and coupled with renewable energies. We have our main infrastructures are located in Gran Canaria and Tenerife, the two main islands from Gran Canaria, but we also have some infrastructure in the west coast of Africa due to its closeness to the Canary Islands. We've explored what R&D opportunities there are in the Canary Islands. So we've got more than 50 years of experience in desalination plants. Actually, the first desalination plant in Europe was installed in the island of Lanzarote in the Canary Islands in 1964. We also have the greatest number of desalination plants per square meter in the world, and excellent availability of natural resources, high qualified researchers, engineers, and of course technical operators, and then also access to national and regional financial mechanism and grants. Other benefits are, for example, a low corporate tax regime for R&D projects in the Canary Islands, which make it very special and very convenient to do R&D in the Canary Islands because of ultra-peripheric region in Europe. So our objectives with creating this living lab was to position Canary Islands as a global benchmark in the field of desalination, but also increasing the investment, outside investment in water-related technologies. So we also develop solutions and innovative projects. So we have a duality here because we perform our own research and development. We have our own pilot plants I'll show you later on, but we also offer a space for external companies to come and test and validate their solutions using our infrastructure and using our streams or the streams that we produce within our pilot plants. So, well, yes, I think I've said more or less because I know we're very tight in schedule. So these are the numbers of financing from when we started the Sal Plus Living Lab. You can see how we get financed is mainly by international projects, national projects, but also consultancy. We perform some consultancy works due to our expertise and our knowledge. And then also we have some indirect financing, which is great for us because this is financing that goes to other institutions that then subcontract us or give us some assignments and some contracts, like, for example, the government of the Canary Islands or the Cabildo of Gran Canaria. Also for organization of international congresses as well. So these are more or less the numbers where we can get our finance from. These are all the numbers that we have created. For example, we have more than 40 collaborators, access to more than 19 desalination plants. We have published 69 scientific papers, but we have also organized training events. We create jobs within the Living Lab. And you can see that in total, more than 2,500 beneficiaries of different actions that we've carried out. So they're good numbers. We're very proud of how it's going. So we do have on our R&D infrastructure where we have a brine valorization open testbed, we have some demo sites, water analysis laboratory, renewables area with sun and wind, specifically photovoltaic and wind energy. And then we have topside desalination technology as well. I'm gonna go just very quick. This is an aerial view from our facilities in the southeast of Gran Canaria. So this is where we do our work, and we also have some space, open space for external companies to come and rent space. That's another way of financing our job because we provide land, electricity, feed water to whatever their technology needs, and we get to these kind of agreements. Well, this is one of the main milestones that we have achieved during the past years. We have designed, with help of other Canarian companies, the most energy efficient desalination plant in the world. We're actually now trying to get the Guinness World Record award as well. So this is a big achievement that we have been able to achieve thanks to the creation of the Desal Plus Living Lab. This is just the evolution of the energy consumption throughout the past decades. We're also trying to win the X Prize, water scarcity. I don't know if you're aware of this award, but it's a very important one. We're in the final stage right now, so let's see if we're lucky. The important thing is this system, or it's not just for one particular system that stays in our facilities and that's it. We're exporting this design to more than 10 different places in the Canary Islands for water for agriculture with low energy consumption. So we like to, the innovation needs to go to the market, needs to get to society. So this is a big step and we're really proud of it. Just some pictures. And then our brand valorization testbed, I will go quick here. Usually brand valorization gets to 3 different, so what we're trying to do is, currently desalination produces fresh water and brine, which is concentrated seawater. Usually gets disposed back to the sea, and what we're trying to do is to give it a second life in relation to circular economy policies. So there are 3 different stages: pre-treatment, concentration, and the final conversion from that product into something useful, added value. It could be chemical products, energy, or carbon CO2 capture. So we have created our own scheme of pilot plants where we can actually offer a lot to both our own research and development and also external companies, where you can see here a demonstration plot where they can install and they can use a purified brine, a concentrated brine, and so on. This is how it looks like, and now future stages that we're going through. So what we can offer is the different desalination brines, highly qualified research area to locate pilots, special tax deductions, and simple and fast installations, which is something that is very good. And so the 3 pathways to engage are through a service contract. As I mentioned before, we provide the floor, water, brine, discharge, energy, internet connection, and you have your black box, your technology. Through collaboration agreements where we can test equipment, membranes, and then we share the results, we work on them. And then there is the partnership in European projects mainly, where we offer our place as a testing site where we can use our pilot plants. So 2 last slides, the ED Water project, which is a very important project that we got a lot of finance from the European Union, the Interreg MAC program. It's an increase in applied research, innovation, and public-private knowledge transfer. So in this project, we have collaborators that are from the private industry, and it's going very well. It just started a year and a half ago, but we are developing. If you want to know a little bit more about it, I'm sure you can Google it and follow us in social media. And this is the new way of, another way of financing that we will be starting soon, is by creating an acceleration call for new companies, new ideas, even students who have low TRLs idea, and we like to promote, to help them thriving, to help them increase their technology readiness level. And then at the end of the day, they'll probably be hosted into our Diesel Plus Living Lab or the brine valorization testbed. So they become clients at the end of the day. So it is another way of promoting and another way of getting financed. So thank you very much. You have the email address and the web page over there. You can also ask any questions. I hope I maintain my time. And yeah, thank you very much for letting us share this with you guys.
Perfect. Many thanks, Angel. So yeah, we are a bit behind schedule. So now we will give the floor to Karel Bagnoli. He is from Vito, and they are working in our pillar D in Water4All regarding business models and financial strategies with a focus on WOLLs. So let's see their recent work. So Karel, when you want.
Hi, Marcos. Thank you for introducing me, and thank you for letting us present our work here. Okay, so can you see my screen? Now it should be in presentation mode. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to discuss the business case of water investments, and I'm going to give examples from Flanders, the northern part of Belgium. First, I start with a couple of challenges that we face. We have periods of too little water. We have also periods of too much water. And then, yeah, we have also too many people. We are a small region. We have a lot of industry. We have a lot of pavements, and this makes it very difficult to have a high water availability. So what the Flemish government did is to implement the Flemish Blue Deal, and this anchored water policy right in the Flemish legislation. So water policy needs to be addressed every year. We have to think of a strategy of how to deal with water challenges. But then we have to go from challenges to actions, and this year, yeah, we try to collaborate with stakeholders. If we do a project, we really go with our boots in the field. We connect with industry, we connect with farmers, we connect with other local stakeholders, and it's very important to support communications so that we can inspire for new actions. Okay, so I'm going to discuss two stories or two examples of water investments, and the first part is about decentral collective rainwater management. What do I mean with decentral? So rainwater is harvested locally, and it's kept locally, and it's distributed to the local business park or the local households, and we do it collectively on business area level or residential area level. We have the example of a Greyfield Business Park in Tielt Noord, where rainwater is used for industry and agriculture. We have an example of Greenfield Residential Area in Agnetenpark in Peer, where rainwater is used by households. We have a Greenfield Business Park in Keiberg-Fossum, where rainwater is buffered and used for the industry. And there, the excess rainwater is given to the ground so that we have higher groundwater levels. Okay, so we always have the same methodology in mind to evaluate the business case. So we first always start with the project idea. And this means that we determine the scope and the perimeter of the project. So what is the goal of the project? Where is the project located? And then we try to make a clear water balance. So what is the what's the water that's coming in? What's the water that's been used? What's the water that flows out? And then we go to thorough stakeholder analysis so that we can engage with them and that we know what their needs are and whether they are ready to participate in the project. The second part is to do a social cost benefit analysis. So we try to collect costs for each stakeholder individually. We also try to collect benefits for each stakeholder individually so that we can make a cost benefit analysis on stakeholder level, but we also do it on societal level to see whether the project is from societal point of view really interesting. And why do we do it on stakeholder level? Yeah, maybe we try to convince the stakeholders to participate, and therefore it's important to let them know what their cost will be and what their benefits will be. So they really need to have sight on this. And then the third step, so if the costs are larger than benefits, if the benefits are larger than the costs, from societal point of view, we need to do a business case evaluation, and then we have to check who is going to be the owners, who is going to have the ownership, who is going to, how is the financing strategy going to be? Can we attract subsidies? How can we price the harvested water, and so on. If we then look at the costs for Keiberg, for the three cases here, we have capital costs, of course, we have the construction cost, for the buffer, for the pipes, for treatment installations, we have a lot of indirect costs, and we have operational costs like maintenance, electricity, monitoring, and billing. And if we look at the three cases, our average distribution cost of treated rainwater is 2.5 to 9.5 euros per cubic meter. So if you compare it to the drinking water tariff, we are at 1.3 to 2.8 euros per cubic meter. So the rainwater is more expensive than drinking water. But an important note is if we compare it to the all-inclusive tariff with treatment and sewage included, we are at 5.3 to 7.3 euros per cubic meter. So even from the cost side, in some projects, it might be already more useful to use rainwater than to use tap water. Then the benefits. So in Flemish legislation, new parks or new business parks or new companies, new households are obliged to have rainwater wells. And in these projects, we try to do it collectively, and they are cheaper than individual rainwater installations. So also, the water in collective rainwater installations will be distributed more optimally, and the buffering and in the Keiberg case, there is buffering and infiltration. So groundwater water is given to the groundwater. There are a lot of avoided costs, like lowering peak consumption. There is lowering treatment costs because less water is going to the treatment plant. There is also avoided damage due to floodings because the buffer is handling a lot of water in peak rainfalls. So this all increases the resilience of the Flemish society if we implement it in a broad sense. And there are also a lot of other co-benefits like ecosystem services. The buffer is pretty green, so it means that there is that's a nature-based solutions that is implemented. So there are ecosystem services where local stakeholders can benefit from. If we look at the avoided sewage costs and treatment costs, we are saving in Keiberg 16,000 euros per year. Why? Because the buffer collects a lot of rainwater, which means that the local sewerage doesn't need an enlargement, and that saves 16,000 euros per year. If we look at the avoided cost due to floodings, it's 100,000 euros saved from a 1 in 20 year storm, so it's 5,000 euros per year. So it's a pretty large amount that is attributed to rainwater catchment. Okay, so we have a lot of costs, we have a lot of benefits, we collected them, and then we have to look at the business case analysis. So in the case of Keiberg and Agnetepark, we see that the capital costs are mainly covered by subsidies. They are partly covered by profits from selling real estate. Also, the operational costs are covered by revenues from selling rainwater. But an important remark is that financial strategy is really needed. So we need high investment. There is high investment cost at the start of the project, and potential subsidies are often only available at a later stage. Another problem is that cash flow from water sales builds up slowly and is uncertain. So for to tackle these problems, we really need a financial strategy. It's a really big success factor. Without you are never going anywhere. So in each project, you really need to think it through. Another remark is that, yeah, at the time, projects are often co-funded by subsidies, but there's a large investment gap. Not all water-related problems can be solved by subsidies, so we need other private sources. And there are multiple stakeholders that benefit from water investment without even paying for it, like the avoided insurance claims the insurance claims that are avoided due to the avoided flooding costs. So how can we mobilize this cost? And from Vito, with Vito, we are trying to connect with insurers, banking sector, so that we can try to mobilize these avoided costs and maybe redirect it into water investments. And it's also important to note that you should combine financing with other domains, like combine road construction with water projects and energy projects, for example. Okay, the second is about wastewater use in the port of Antwerp. So what challenges do we face? We face a challenge of drought and of water blackout. So it might be that the industry is at some point going to fall without any water in a period. So therefore we try to tackle it. And there is also a challenge of water quality. So there's declining water quality in the port of Antwerp. So there might be stricter discharge standards in the future. And this means that the permits might be at risk. Therefore, we need a more advanced wastewater treatment system, and that's what we are trying to check if it's worth to offer it. What are we doing? Or what is the infrastructure going to do? It's about circular water. It's a circular water network for industrial wastewater in the port of Antwerp. The main activity is a treatment of wastewater, so that it has the quality of drinking water. And the goal is to distribute it to the local chemical companies, and they can use it for processed water. The main resource is a wastewater provided by the chemical companies itself. Okay, if we keep our methodology in mind, we first have the project idea and we have to do the stakeholder analysis. So together with involved companies, we are now checking which company should be supplier and consumer, because it depends on the needs, the quality needs for their processed water, and also depends on the quality of their wastewater. And it also raises questions like where should the infrastructure be located, and we are selecting multiple criteria to select the best fit for the infrastructure. And the next steps, we are now at this stage, we are trying to collect cost from the selected infrastructure. So we are collecting capital cost, operational cost, and this will be based on a pilot setup. There are also a lot of benefits that we are collecting, like saved expenditures from drinking water, reducing the discharge cost for suppliers of the wastewater, sustainability companies' goals will be reached easy, and water security for society is going up as a whole, because chemical companies are a big demander of water. And then we have also decreasing risk for water blackouts. And on the business case analysis, there are a lot of open questions right now, like who's going to be the operator, who's going to be the ownership, who is going to have shareholders, who is going to be the shareholder. And there are also a lot of, we are thinking about needed contracts, like there will be levers and entrants from the infrastructure. How can we deal with that? And then also economic questions are arising, like what's going to be the financing strategy, and therefore we are talking to banks. What's going to be the pricing scheme? That's also very important. We need to give incentives to encourage companies to provide wastewater and also to buy the water that will be provided. And you also have to deal with different quality of wastewater. Okay, so that's it from my side. I hope it's all clear. And yeah, Marcus, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Karel, for your presentation with that a practical element of your cases. And sorry for the speed. And we are going with the last presentation. It will be by Gloria Cuenca Vescos. She is a professor at the Faculty of Sciences in the University of Zaragoza. And Gloria, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Marcos. Let's see. Convertir. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you see. Do you see the presentation?
We see it, but not in presentation mode.
Okay. Let me put. So, is it okay?
No, perfect.
No. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcos. Thank you for this invitation. And thank you for the CINAE, the cluster of water from our region that invited us to present our Geology and Society chair. CINAE is part of the European Water Partnership, Water4All, and they thought that our nearly very young share could contribute to these presentations. I would like to present very shortly to the Institutional and Corporate Chairs program of the University of Zaragoza, which is some of the more than 100 chair 100 partnerships with enterprise and another institutional, public and private programs. The Geology and Society Chair is a pioneering initiative that bridges geoscience, sustainable development, with a special focus on water, territory, and resilience. I would like to show Zaragoza is a city in the north part of Spain that is really, we are called the capital of the desert because our only water source is the Ebro River, which is a very big river, but is only in the middle of the region. So we need for the city, we need a big watersheds constructed outside the city. The University of Zaragoza has developed a program of bridges between the enterprise and the university. We rank in the first among Spanish university in the number of institutional and corporative chairs, more than 100, I have said. This leadership is driven by long-standing strategic alliances with a wide range of companies and institutions, fostering stable, mutually beneficial collaborations that generate real impact for both partners and for society at large. Just a quick vision, the institutional and corporate chairs by sector. Main sectors represented here are engineering and architect, the technical sectors, later the social sciences and laws, health sciences, and other sciences such as humanity and arts. Well, the chair of Geology and Society is based on the thinking that geology will be the solution for many problems that the society is encountering now with the climatic change. Some of you have spoken about that, with the loss of water resources, with the problems given by the population, rising population, etc. So a brief presentation of the chair. You can meet the team of the Geology and Society chair. We are both two professors as directors, myself and Professor Marcos Aurel, and then the Professor Miguel Moreno Azanza, which is the secretary of the Joint Committee, Maria Eugenia Diez, which is the professor of specialist on science education, and then the two representatives of the companies that are the collaborators of the chair, José Luis Barco, founder and director of Paleoimas, one of the biggest companies in paleontology and other resources in Spain, and Javier Gracia, member of the Control 7 company, which is mainly engaged in geological problems related with water and geoheritage. The main objectives of the chair are to advance knowledge in geology and promote the value of geological sciences, geodiversity, and geological heritage. It supports existing initiatives while fostering knowledge transfer and innovation across educational, scientific, economic, and social domains. Though this, it seeks to enhance both the sustainable management of land and society's understanding and appreciation of geosciences. We have nice programs together with the University of Zaragoza, such as the Recovering the Forgotten Memory of Mining. It is a program where it's an example of citizen science when our Museum of Natural Sciences asked to the people in Aragon for speaking about the mining, the forgotten minings. We have more than 600 entries about the ancient mining in our region. Of course, another objectives are the drive applied research and technological advance, promote geological vocations and knowledge transfer. We want to imply more students, more graduate, undergraduate, and doctoral PhD students in the searching of solutions from the geological point of view, from the paleontological point of view, from the geological in general point of view. We want to support sustainable land and resource management, protect and promote geological heritage and geodiversity, foster collaboration between academia, industry, and institutions, and of course contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. We offer to the students of geology the knowledge of where they can study, wherever they want. We have several universities, public universities in Spain with geological studies. And we are looking ahead. Our chair was created at the beginning of this year, so it's very, very young. Looking ahead, we have some strategic perspectives, assess and enhance public perception of geology, target reports and action plans, host the Geology and Society Day, a forum between academia, industry, and the public, support and sponsor geological conferences, deliver micro training sessions, our excellences in research and innovation, promote innovative projects that highlight geodiversity, past biodiversity, and applied geology, and develop and expand the chair's digital presence in our region, but also abroad in Spain and Europe. The brief story I already told that it was signed, our contract with the University of Zaragoza was signed in December the 3rd in 2024. And here we are the team with our new contract. One of our first, the first activities was a very interesting conference on water, on tourism, geological tourism, on what can geology do for the society. We saw in this conference we can make a small resume that we saw a very big interest in the geology as an important source for solutions, not only in water management but all the implied problems. Also, for the society in general, we see that geology is a very important source for intelligent touristic destinies. They give to the region with a beautiful, and not only beautiful, important geological formations. People is interested in see this formation, and this gives to the local communities economy, identity, cultural heritage, history, and preservation of the local regions. As I said, we promote excellent science, and we give some premiums to the people, to the young people, which made a good PhD programs or TFM or TGD end of programs. We plan activities such as new education forum, social perception studies, professional training, academic supervision with the direction of master thesis, as I said, outreach and geotourism, event participation. For instance, we plan to participate in the important International Professional Geology Congress, which will be held in Zaragoza next November 5 to 7 of this same year. The Geological Congress has already more than nearly 100 participants of all over Europe, with professionals, the Federation of Professional Geologists, and of course the implication of the Geological College, the Portuguese Association for Geologists, as well as the University of Zaragoza, and our chair. Here is a big panel of the people who will attend the meeting. Here another one. And we also want to make collaboration lines with our chair, with other institutional. For instance, we want to guide assessment and guidance for geological hazards, consulting of regulatory and strategic support in the work frameworks and strategic planning, environmental impact studies, evaluation and management of environmental and geological impact, territorial planning, advice on sustainable land use and spatial development, heritage conservation, consulting on geological and natural heritage conservation and preservation, and geotourism and geodiversity, promoting and valorization of geodiversity through tourism and outreach and initiatives. I must say that in Aragon, in our region, we have 2 geoparks that are promoting the knowledge of geology in Europe, in our region, but also in Europe. External collaboration, some examples are campaigns and educational materials with geological focus. We are working on understanding for the people, for the students, what aquifers are, how susceptible are aquifers for infiltration, pollutants, subsoil reservoirs, and water transition from the aquifers to the citizens. Dissemination on the waterland sustainability nexus, exhibitions, routes, audiovisuals, creation of routes that combine hydraulic heritage, history, water supply, and geological heritage, water culture from a local and particular perspective, workshops, visits, educational activities for school children and the general public, and events connecting science, business, society, conferences, technical routes, sectorial workshops. I will present very brief the two companies that are part of our chair. One is Control 7. Control 7 is a laboratory of assistance, technical and technical assistance in engineering and business and edification. It has a very big laboratory with water and medioambiental inspection, geology and geotechnics, and other fields of activity such as formation. And Paleoimas, which is the other company, they have consulting and interpretation of data in paleontology and archaeology, environmental and geology. Particularly, since 1999, they are working in water problems that we have in our region. One problem are the invasive species, such as the crab, the American crab, and the protection of amphibians and fishes from our freshwater rivers and lakes. There is also a very big problem with the invasive species, such as the tiger mollusks. And the Paleoimas is working in studying the local and species and how to protect our local species. Also, elimination of this very hard invasive species, which is pom caracol, which is creating problems also for the fields of rice in the communities where this important economical resource is in the Ebro River. This is the study of the local species of mollusks, and also they are working on protecting ichthyofaunas, where they are preparing some channels or restructuration of water channels for the water administration, for instance, the Canal Ribera, etc. Well, those are our social media webs in Instagram and in LinkedIn and Facebook. Also, this is our webpage, Geologic and Society from unisarf.es. Thanks. I tried to make it very short. Thanks for attending these meetings. I think it's important to share our knowledge with other people. I have learned a lot from the former presentations. Thanks for all. Thank for your important contributions to the knowledge of and the strategic partnerships in the interdisciplinary collaboration and strong commitment to outreach. The chair contributes to shaping resilient communities, informed decision-making, and a deeper appreciation of our planet's geological, but also water heritage. Thank for your attention.
Thank you very much, Gloria. I think these presentations have shown us the importance of stakeholder collaboration and engagement in achieving financial sustainability. So I am gonna give the floor to myself to very briefly present the. I don't know if you can see my presentation. No?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I very brief. In this month opens the next Water4All joint and national call about water and health. So this will be the main page where you can enter in that link. So it's a goal that starts this month and ends in I think in November. Here we have a tentative schedule. The call opening the opening of the call is today, and until November we can prepare the submission of the line of the proposal, and then we have this tentative calendar. Yeah, yeah. Very brief, these are the countries that are participating in this call. All this information is in the web page that you have seen before, and the focus this year is about water and health, with main aim for four topics. Last year was economic circular economy, and this one is water and health, with four topics: waterborne contaminants and health risk, innovative tools and technologies for water quality, water treatment and exposure mitigation, and governance, socioeconomic innovation, and policy integration for water and health. So this is, as in other years, financed by the activities of the Pillar B in Water4All. And that's all, very brief, because we are a bit behind of schedule. Yeah. And if Andrea, you want to end with the webinar, or if we have any questions to answer.
Many thanks, Marcus. I mean, I think that we are going to be really beyond the schedule, and then I'm afraid that participants might be busy in continuing participating to this event. So because we had a multimedia, but I think that we might skip that, and we can go directly to the conclusions. We have a number of questions that we will address to the speakers so that they can directly reply. And of course, I mean, we invite the audience to contact us for additional questions directly via email to us, I mean, to me, to Marcos, I mean, to Water Europe, to the Water, and to the other speakers directly. I think that we have lesson learned today, quite a lot, because we have seen not only the theory of citizen engagement, but also the practice, which is successful. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of balancing, I mean, the action between the different actors of the quadruple helix. It's for sure, I mean, an overall commitment by these actors. We see also there is the need for having political commitment then in the end, because when it goes to communities, I mean, let's say political commitment playing quite an important role. At the same time, we have seen also that there are financial instruments that are beyond, I mean, what we can usually think that is available. And well, I mean, it would be important that we go deeper into these tools, that we support again, I mean, the capacity of the stakeholders of having access, I mean, to these tools, I mean, these models, approaches, and financial tools, in order that we can ensure to our society to achieve what you say, what a smart society and economy once again. I think that if there is anything else I mean to add, we can close this third webinar of the Water and Living Labs webinar series, with many thanks to all the speakers, many thanks to the audience for the participation, the passion, I mean, to listen to us. And well, I mean, we have opportunities in Water4All, upcoming calls for proposals. I mean, they're going to open right away. And at the same time, I mean, let's keep turn it, I mean, for the next webinar that will be, it is scheduled for December 2025. At the same time, I mean, I kindly ask you to follow Water4All partnership. I mean, you can find it, I mean, easily by Googling Water4All partnership on your web browser, and to follow, I mean, our activities, actions, and achievements. I like just to find that Water4All is really, I mean, I think that, I mean, worldwide, the strongest, the most important, and the largest partnership focusing on water challenges, really secure water for the planet. With this words, once again to thank you and see you again. I mean, for the next webinar, and maybe before that, with other events connected to water and water-related sectors. Thank you so much.
Many thanks. Bye.
Many thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.